me where you from. Baby, I come from the low. With some trappers you ain't know. One up top up in that glizzy, dog and coca on the road. I'm just watching for the troopers trying to make it to the O. Hit the trap, bust it down. Junkie say he wants some more. Play the block like I'm Shaq, but I shoot like I'm cold.
Well, it's about fucking time, y'all. This was long overdue. Excuse my French. Well, this is the first episode of RELL Off the Hill. Welcome. I got two of my guys here with me. I got Keshawn, the Cub Liggins, and I got Javon Pigger, the Munch Bird. So let me just kind of get into a little bit of a rundown about the podcast and why it's called RELL Off the Hill. First and foremost, I want to say rest in peace to my friend Shameek, a.k.a. Big Low. Shout out to my sister for the self-love hat. Her link will be in the bio, so make sure you tap in and get with her. And then the only vodka I'm going to have on this channel is going to be 44 North. Shout out to my guy Ken. Show the camera, please. Show the camera. This is not Drink Champs, but this is RELL Off the Hill. We will be sipping a little bit. Sip. I had to do that. So, DJ kind of helped me pick out the name of RELL Off the Hill, and it kind of just flowed, and I kind of liked it, so I just went with it. But nonetheless, I had a YouTube like 12 years ago. I just didn't stick to it. And then you see everybody now on YouTube. Everybody. I'm like, damn, I really messed that one up. But it's all right, though. I'm not stressing it. But the reason why I'm starting RELL Off the Hill is because, one, I no longer live on 77 Lucas Hill no more. I reside now in Idaho, of all places, potato land. Yes, I know. Growing up where I come from, I won't sugarcoat it. It's real shitty. You get put in a lot of real shitty situations. And I think one of the things I want to do with my channel, is promote some guidance. And by guidance, I mean just pointing, young kids in the right direction. Being able to help out, when I can, give them some game, and at least, I got to start in my neighborhood first. But whoever watches this channel, I hope they kind of, grasp the idea of, what I'm talking about. So I definitely want to promote guidance because, if you live in New York or any inner city, you kind of feel it where it's like you got a lot of young kids right now just doing a lot of crazy shit. And this, due to lack of guidance that they have in the house, even, in the streets and stuff like that, It's just crazy what you see and what you hear and what you know. Like I said, I procrastinated the fuck out of this channel. I'll get into it later, but my friend Meek had, put his album out, and, I was, listening to a little bit of it, but I was also seeing some of the good he was doing back home. And then I recorded kind of about me for the YouTube, and then he ends up passing away like 3-4 days later. So I don't think people really kind of understand. I kind of just detoured. I kind of screwed everything up, and I was just on Facebook looking at a memory of me saying I was going to do my YouTube channel a year ago. And it's kind of crazy how time has caught up now. I'm like, all right, cool. Well, let's get it. Like I said, rest in peace to Big Low, man. What I plan to accomplish with this channel is I want to be able to have, other locals on here, whether they're entrepreneurs, business owners, I guess, one and the same, healthcare people, educators, someone that's doing good in the community for, whether it's schools, sports or something, just, I want to promote, good stuff, good guidance. I will speak about marketing. I want to have people in here that's going to talk about, like your taxes and, how to eat healthy, training, the whole nine. And I think that's, kind of really important because every time I look, it's just a bunch of foul play going on, a bunch of crazy shit going on. And it's just, the world we live in, as we know, I mean, society is starting to take, a downwards trend. But we'll touch on that topic later as well. I really want to help and, give back, start with my community. So um, I'm going to be giving $500 to my old elementary school. I'm going to have my former third grade teacher, kind of be in charge of it. Where this going to be for other pre-K students, kindergarten students where they need some books or something like that. Because when my former third grade teacher is like a second mom to me, and when I would get out of high school, even sometimes at middle school, I would just go back and help. But it didn't really hit me until like my first year in college, maybe my senior year, where I would just go back and help, and I really noticed how much kids don't really have, guidance at home. They have nobody. I mean, there's kids that's supposed to be doing at home work, and they're not doing it. They're coming into class struggling, and everything like that, and so, that's something that, I'm really passionate about is, giving back to my community, helping the youth in whatever way that I can. And, I hope that, this channel can bring in, some donations to give to some scholarships, hopefully put it towards people who want to do some after school programs. But yeah, Roll Off the Hill, episode 1, the intro. It's about damn time. I think this is going to be the one. We kind of shot this episode like 2 or 3 times. Oh, shout out to Studio Boise too, by the way. Thank you guys for allowing me to, run the podcast here. I appreciate that. Happy holidays as well. I'm going to introduce, like I said, y'all already met him, earlier. I got Keshawn and I got Pun. Why don't y'all say what's good? It don't matter who go first. Just
I'll
talk.
go first. My name is Keshawn Liggins, originally from Middleton, Idaho, and I'm here on the podcast with RELL. He's been one of my best friends since I met him, so just here to give insight, give wisdom and knowledge to, the youth and those that are listening and tuning in. So you'll be hearing a lot about my story as well as the things that I endure throughout every day and my life and my opinion as well. So that's enough about me.
I'm Javon Bird, a.k.a. Pun.
AKA
The Munch, that's what he wants to say. Yeah, I'm just chilling on Loving Boise. Regular stuff.
What was your first impression when you first got out here?
Like, damn, how I'm going to get some buns? Nah, it was cold, but I'm kind of used to that, but seen a lot of cows and, like, goats and stuff, but it's good, though. I like it. I like it a lot.
I don't think people understand. You got your level of comfortability, and then you got the looking over your shoulder part. I don't think people really ever had to really look over their shoulder out here,
Yeah,
and
that's a big thing in New York. Like the first couple of nights chilling with Keshawn and RELL, I was just chilled, relaxed. I didn't have to worry about somebody smacking me with something at the ball. I was just chilling. It was a good vibe.
I think one of the first things when I got to Idaho, my thing was like, the turf, and I'm like, well, I didn't get a chance to really have fun in community college. I had some fun, but I thought that me coming to Boise, was like, damn, all right, cool, let's get it. But party scene, garbage, basura. I had a few better parties, college parties at my community college than I had here, just because the vibes was different. Plus, cops here want to shut down everything. It's like, come on, when you was that age, you was doing the same thing, my boy. You got to chill out. When I got out here, I was 21 anyway, so it didn't really matter. I had a couple of house parties, but as soon as I went downtown, it was a wrap for going to any college parties. But obviously, you'll see the mixture. I mean, everyone knows. I mean, the black population is growing. But when I first got out here, I mean,
It was scarce.
it was like 6 of us.
And before that, I was here.
And
So there was 2 of us.
you
It
know,
was relatives.
you're like, just to point it out, you have.
I'm light skinned.
But I love Boise though. I never really got that opportunity to do a lot of the things that, I've done here that I could have done out there. It's easy for me now to go to the mountain, go snowboarding. As in New York, you got to drive mad far away, and you got to come back. You got to come straight home. Here, I get to go in the mountains. I get to go into the little town. I get to eat, shop. Snow is dope. People on the frozen lake having fun. And go on a little ski trip. You go to the mountain. It's like 10, 12 of us, 15 of us. I guess the one thing I want to say about Idaho is that, it is a gem. It literally is the gem state. Someone told me this, that is 3,000 bodies of water accounted for and thousands of others that are not. And it's weird how Idaho kind of curves and then gets real skinny at the top. Just think about how much bigger Idaho could have been if they would have just kind of gave it a little bit more, state, instead of Montana taking up damn near a quarter of the state when you get up north. But I love Idaho, it's easily to travel everywhere. Oregon, Washington, California, Nevada, Arizona, Texas, Denver, Salt Lake, even
Vegas.
Well, Nevada, Vegas,
That far.
Cabo, but as opposed to New York, though, it's like, you got New York, Atlanta, Miami, you got the Poconos, you got Philly, you got DC, and then everything in the Caribbean. That's the one thing I hate about Idaho, is how we not near the Caribbean. Flights to DR be like $326 round trip. I would have been there once a month.
What else you paying for?
That's it.
Sure.
Long nights,
I'm not a munch.
early mornings.
Shit.
You a munch.
Definitely
But-
not a munch.
But, Keshawn, I want them to hear your story. I want you to kind of just, let them know, like, who's Keshawn?
Who's Keshawn? I would say a man that puts his mind to something and makes it happen. So I would say, from just a little bit about me, is I'm from Middleton, Idaho. I'm a former basketball player, and now I'm a personal trainer out here who runs my own training business. I'm originally, like I said, from Middleton, and the things that I've done throughout my life, from a basketball standpoint, I've just been all over the world. I went from Idaho to New Mexico to Texas to Arizona, back to Idaho to California to Washington, back to Idaho to Pennsylvania to Grand Rapids to, so I've been all over the place. I went to 3 different high schools in 4 years and 4 different colleges in 4 years, so I've kind of seen a lot. I was fortunate to get drafted into the NBA G League, and now I've been, even more fortunate and blessed to run Adversity Athletes, which is a training company out here in Boise that I've built and continue to build, and so I'm very fortunate and blessed. The Lord has blessed me with a lot of good things, and soon to propose to my girl and then eventually be married here soon in the summer. So
Oh man, you're not
like
supposed to
to-
put that. You're not even supposed to put that in the
She
fucking.
go see it.
You're not supposed to put that in the YouTube, bro.
What?
You're not supposed to put that in here in the
You-
podcast. We gotta scrap that out or something.
You said that last time to put it in.
Nah, we gonna
Light skin
figure it out.
shit.
Hey, now he changed. You told me you're gonna bring it up next time.
I'm gonna mute it. Don't worry.
Just got that.
It is what it is. But continue.
But anyways,
She knows already, so it doesn't fucking matter.
well, she doesn't know when I'm gonna propose. I didn't say what time.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, she knows it's coming. Wedding date set. Just
Anyways,
go ahead, Lion.
yeah, there you go. He didn't call me the Cub this time, but
Lion Cub.
so but yeah, so I'm just a trainer and a motivator, and I try to be the best mentor to the young kids that I'm fortunate to be working with, and so that's just a little bit about me and what I stand for.
Okay. Pigga,
Javon.
talk to him, Pigga.
First, I would change walking out of 6K on North Broadway. I ain't gonna lie, man. Walking past that church changed my life. Being on Locust, did a lot of dumb stuff. I liked football growing up. I messed that up, but you know what I'm saying, Really know, man. I've been through a lot in my life. Growing up on Locust, lost a couple good friends. Did a couple, you know what, couple state bids and stuff like that. But I'm in Boise now. It's time to boss up. Get right.
Mm-hmm. For all my athletes out there, you know, Keshawn, you know, a lot of people think they work hard. You know, a lot of people think they're this, they're that. Kind of speak about, you know, some of the basketball mentality that you have, you know, some of the things that motivated you, that inspired you, you know, and people think they know hard work. Let them know what hard work is.
Yeah. So I would say the biggest thing for motivation would be having nothing. I think that's one of the things that kind of pushed me to work hard is, you know, when you go home and, you know, you're in a 2-bedroom apartment with 8 other people and, you know, you can sleep on a bunk bed next to 3 people, or you can sleep on a couch and or you can sleep on the floor. And there's some times where, you know, the food isn't always there, or the water may not be on, or lights may not be on, or you got to wear the same shoes for 3 years. And I think that kind of put a different motivation into my grind. And just always being on the move and being a survival type mentality has always kind of pushed me. So I think the biggest thing that holds kids back from here is the privilege and the spoon feeding. When you go and you face somebody that didn't have nothing and all they got is, you know, basketball or a sport, and that's their only way out or the only way to change their environment or their life or their situation, they're going to treat it and approach it a lot differently than somebody who, you know, they can pay for training sessions, they can pay for, you know, to play on an AAU team, and, you know, they take that for granted when there's kids that are all over the world that don't have the funds to do that. And, you know, the grind becomes obsessive. And for me, I've been waking up at 5 a.m. and working out and training since I was 12. And my mom always told me, if I have to motivate you, then you don't really want to do it. And I wouldn't make it. And so I've always just kind of motivated myself. And a lot of days where I spent a lot of time by myself, shooting outside, doing ball handling in the rain and the snow, running on the track, running up the bleachers. I wore my jump soles to school, got called moon boots. And, you know, I just really didn't care. It was make it by any means. And my father, rest in peace, he instilled a work ethic in me. And that kind of just propelled me throughout my career. So many days I go to the gym 3 to 5 times. I'd be in there from 5 to 8 hours a day. And if it wasn't in the gym, it was outside. If it wasn't shooting the ball, it was ball handling on the street. If it wasn't ball handling on the street, I was running on the track. I would work in a field and pull weeds and get paid hourly just so I could buy equipment.
What kind of weeds?
Regular like weeds in a cotton field.
Oh,
when I lived in Texas.
In the cotton field.
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. Just so I could provide for myself to get training equipment. So
good old Texas.
Good old Texas, yep. So I got a weight vest, jump soles, a parachute, and bands, and I would just put myself through stuff that I would see online. And back then it was a little different. We had AOL, so I'd be in a search, and, you know, the phone would ring and it cut off the whole internet. Where now you can just search it on your phone and get it in half a second. You know, sometimes I would click on something on YouTube and leave for 30 minutes just to get 45 seconds buffered, which they don't know about now, so it's a little bit different, you know. So
45 seconds for 30 minutes is crazy.
But that's how it was, man. And a lot of times we forget about it because it seems like a long time ago, but it's really not that far ago, not that long ago. So, but I would go to stack.com and I would go there and I would try to find what NBA players were doing and top colleges were doing, and I would put myself through it. So, you know, I've been training myself since I was 12. I've had a couple people help me along the way. You know, my stepdad, he helped me a little bit, and outside of that, I had a couple guys when I finally made it that helped me. But outside of that, it was me, my homeboys, and the stuff that I had. You know, I started training people at 14, so I really kind of put myself through it. But nobody ever had to ask me to do it, and my commitment was real because I stayed true to it, even on the good, the bad, the ugly days. My motivation never changed. My work ethic never changed, where nowadays commitment is spoken and not shown. And so, you know, commitment is staying true to the thing that you said you was going to do long after the feeling in which you said it in has left. And nowadays you can cover up stuff, you can mask stuff, and you can fake it to make it per se. So you couldn't do that back then. You didn't have social media the way that you do now. You don't have the camera and film edit guys that you got now that can make you look good and you could be sorry. But, so it was a little bit different. You had to really earn your respect and you had to, get it out the mud. So when it comes to working hard, it's something that you have to commit to. And it's not just, 5 days a week, 6 days a week, it's 7 days a week, multiple hours a day, and you had to sacrifice. You might not go to a homecoming dance or a prom dance. You might not get to hang out and spend the night at friends' houses all the time. You may not get to watch a Netflix series all the way through or play video games for 4 hours. It's like, what are you really wanting to do? You got to dedicate your life to it, So when it comes to, working hard, it's something that you have to choose to do. We're all capable of it, but not all of us decide to make that decision. And I think the biggest thing is not pointing the finger. A lot of people want to point, at their coach or at their environment or their system to say why they didn't make it. There's no excuse. Either you're going to get it or you're not. And some people say that's harsh, but, life is harsh and life is not fair. Only the strong survive, and only the ones with the confidence and the mindset to get to the top get there. A lot of people fall off. There's more people average in this world than successful people. So, I'd rather be successful than average.
I hear that. I live with Keshawn for a few years now. And there was a point in time where I was renting. And I lived with the lady at one place. She sold that house, went and bought a new one, and I just went and lived with her. It was just I went on Craigslist, and someone had a room for rent, and I took it. But the one thing was, I was trying to move into the Queens Pound Apartments with one of my coworkers. He tells me like 3 days before, like, yo, bro, my credit's fucked up. And he know who he is. It was probably like a week, maybe at tops. But it's like, bro, like, come on. Like, I'm not signing this lease where I'm at. It's a dub. Fuck no. And I ended up going on Craigslist. Lady had a bedroom, master bedroom for rent. And it was just, okay, cool. I'm going to take that, and I remember, and when we moved to the second house, I would wake up at 7 o'clock, to go to work, and then you already back in bed sleep because you had woke up at 4, with no car at the time, got to a 5 a.m. workout, was back home by 6:30, you was sleep before 7, or you was probably just going to sleep. For a lot of you basketball players, the one word that, or athletes or business-minded people, or anyone who wants to accomplish something, and I'm still working on this myself. You got to sacrifice, that one spot that looks lit, trust me, I'm 28, I got when you get older, you pay bills, you need a balance. But at the same time, it's like, you got to sacrifice things, and the spot that looks lit, the girl that, is interested in you, but it's like she's really not, and it's like spending time to go hang out with her instead of probably, staying home, doing something that's going to benefit you 5 to 10 years down, 2 to 3 years down the road, tomorrow, whatever the case is. It's sacrifice. Everything is sacrifice, and I feel like with a lot of young men, women, become, a very, very strong distraction. Yep. And there's nothing wrong with that, I mean, if you got someone, who really fuck with you, then so be it, but as you get older, you got to understand that, it's like you do have to sacrifice a lot of things, you do. You can't be always, if your lifestyle is solid, then, you can do whatever you want, but for people trying to, get from level 1 to level 2, and then from level 2 to level 5, you're going to have to sacrifice a little bit in the beginning and start to ease up on things. And not all women are distractions, but for a lot of young men, some people I know in this room, They let women distract them from their dreams.
I mean, it changed my career for basketball. I was in the NBA G League, and I chased the girls, so I stopped playing basketball for it.
But you can still go play overseas though.
Yeah, I can still go play overseas, but now my career path is to continue to grow my business and run my business. So, and my life isn't about me; it's about impacting others. So, as soon as I really made that commitment to that, I've stayed on that. Yes, I'm still good enough to go play. I have opportunities. I get offers to go play all the time. But when it comes to your purpose, all of our purposes are different. Some of us have similar visions, and some of us have similar paths that God gave us. But God has always showed me, and the only reason why I ever wanted to play in the NBA was to open up a gym and impact lives. And so I got on the fast track of that by sacrificing basketball for it. But I never sacrificed basketball in a sense because I'm still involved in the game. And it would be one thing if I had a regret, but I have zero regret because I know how good I am. And I think that is, even with the confidence that I have, and some call it arrogance, I know who I am as a player. I know who I am as a person, and I know what I bring to the youth. I know what I bring to my community. I know what I bring to my friends, and that's just somebody that's real, loving, genuine, and honest. So, but I think one of the things that we touched on when we talk about sacrifice, it's not just sacrifice; it's time. And the one thing that you can't get back in life is time. And as soon as you make a decision to do something, that's the trade out, is your time. So whether you're chasing a girl, whether you're chasing a party, whether you're chasing attention, whether you're chasing money, you're trading time. And I think something that we all are trying to buy, at least us that are, I can speak for us three, and even my man over here, that we are all working extremely hard to free up time, because at this point we have the energy and the desire and the passion and the grind and the work ethic to do so. And if we can just sacrifice, some fun now, when we're 40, we're going to be having all the fun and all the time. And, our kids will be able to grow up together, and we can give them the lives that we didn't have, or that we wish we would have had. So, the trade out in anything that you're going to do, whether it's play basketball, whether it's start a business, whether it's be a doctor or a cop or a fireman or whatever you decide to do, entrepreneur, you're trading out time. So whatever you're going to do, commit to it, and don't be 1 foot in and 1 foot out. You will spend more time, you will waste more time being half-assed committed to something than if you just go all in and fail. And I think the biggest teacher and the best teacher in life is experience. So if you're to fail something, you didn't lose, you learned. And, I can speak from myself and even you, we failed at a lot of things, but the one thing is we always learn. And, we can make something ugly into something pretty real quick. And so, that trade out for time and just locking into our focus and determination is going to make all the difference when it comes 1, 2, 5 years. Who knows? The timetable isn't, we could sit there and put a timetable on our success, but moral victories and even minor victories are something, because we're already beating the odds because of the position we're in right now. That, people wish and dream they could be in our position. And, we're still striving for more.
100%, and in today's world, it's not hard to make money.
No. You got Google.
You got YouTube, which is, in my opinion, the number one
teacher
ever.
Easy.
Because you got
Free.
so many people doing different things. You got people that's buying and selling homes without their real estate license, doing it efficiently, successfully, and maybe making enough money to then be like, all right, you know what? I made my money in this. I know the game. Now let me go ahead and do this.
Then they give a course on it, make another bag.
Then they do a course, and I don't think people, I'm not going to touch on this topic like too much, but I just want to let people know, like, as technology grows and everything goes, and like, on YouTube, we got these people, and I'm not procrastinated. Like I said, I'm mad at myself, but on these Photoshop classes and everything like that, what do people think is going to happen in the next 5 to 10 years? As far as education, as far as technology goes and social media, like marketing, and when 2020 happened, everybody said, you know what, fuck my marketing budget. Fuck it, I don't give a fuck for it. I'm laying people off. I can only do takeouts. Well, you're an idiot. And I say that respectfully. How do you expect to get people in the door to get takeout food if you're not marketing anything? I remember going to this one restaurant, and it was in the middle of COVID. She said, oh, it's not in my budget right now. And mind you, I told her we'll do X amount of videos at this price, cheap, because I was going to come out of it from my own pocket just to make sure the guys got paid, but to give us an opportunity, And she said, nah, I'm good, And I'm like, all right. But during 2020 when COVID happened and everything, all the businesses shut down. They can't have no one dine in, only do takeout. So many businesses, and I'm speaking locally, in Boise, Meridian, just in Idaho in general. Not many of them really got creative with their marketing. They didn't, and it shows. Well, it showed, and that's not. I mean, like you have to be creative now. You have to, but back then when when it's a time when you should have been creative, you should have put more money towards marketing. Yeah, you saw a dip, but there was a potential there where you couldn't have saw a dip because you could have gotten your product or service out to X amount of people, with the proper it's called content marketing. I'm not gonna dive too much into it.
But think about it, it was a cheaper rate. We went to and during COVID we went to a real estate office and presented the idea to have video to cover the homes instead of just photos. We had photos and video, and they told us no.
Yeah, and there was and at that time, I mean, video, there was a lot of video, and photo, but my whole thing is you gotta have a strategy.
But it was more photo. When we said the video,
still to this day, now
there's way more.
Yeah, now there's
all video.
Yeah, now there's way more video. You got a lot of people, who don't be in different avenues, so they're creative. I'm not gonna say it's one-sided, but it's a little bit different. Because you got older people who might be in their 40s or 50s try to be creative like a millennial.
Right.
And that doesn't work. Because no offense, it's like you don't really understand the slang, what's going on social media, what the young people's constantly talking to because you're not around young people. I tell people, I'm 28, I live in Idaho, but I'm from New York. I'm from Locust Hill. Let me get that straight. I'm from Locust Hill, which is located in Yonkers, New York. I was born in Yonkers, but I was raised on Locust Hill. I mean, if you get it, you get it. My dad was a graffiti artist. My sister's an artist. My dad used to tag trains, billboards, subways. My dad used to do that. Because back in his time, in the 70s, I mean, that was his thing. He was a graffiti guy. So I feel like that's where I get, a little bit, a lot of my, creativeness is from my dad, but the video and everything to get people to see it, technology's increasing. No one wants to just look at a photo.
Right.
Unless it's of a girl. Unless it's of food. Maybe some interior design. That's, just being honest. It is what it is. But video right now, the way it's going, is always going to be where it's at. But you got to have the proper strategy. Too many business owners right now, they can't, and it's simple to kind of find some of these things, but too many business owners right now, they don't even know specific, I'm going to say statistics on their social media.
They don't even know how to run it. They don't even know what the business Instagram is, or what the insights are, or how to even reach.
They don't know
or
insights.
Market ad.
I see, you know, and this is all over the country. I see a bunch of people, you know, what they do is they hear something, right? They're like, okay, this sounds good. But then after that, they're like, damn, I don't know if this is working. So you're paying X amount of dollars for a service where you don't truly know if it's working or not. How is that? You got to understand your business. You got to understand your demographic. You got to understand the marketing aspect. You got to know, like, you know, how many followers, you know, when if I do a brunch, you know, if I get 500 likes, how many of those likes say they're based out of Nampa, Cuna, Boise, Meridian?
What's your target market?
You know, no, not that, but just the people that's following you. You know, like
I'm saying like the target area. Where's the hot spots?
Yeah, you know, like you know, where are you popular at? You know, a lot of people don't know this. They don't get it. I go to a page now and it's like, too much sauce. Can't give that one. Come to me if you need it. But you know, when I first got out here, you know, I lived in the Lincoln townhomes. You know, off of I forgot where, but it was on Boise State campus. And, you know, I didn't go back to New York. I don't think people noticed. I didn't go back to New York 2016 summer. I spent May, June. I spent 2 months on my friend's couch, you know, trying to figure it out. You know, and I remember it was my 22nd birthday. I went downtown and I walked into this bar called Amsterdam, you know, and I walked in there, got my birthday shot, walked out. I'm never fucking walking in there again. The fuck is this? Fuck out of here. This weird ass fake fireplace. And then sure enough, 13 days later, two weeks later, I got hired on the spot by my guy, David Munson. And he said, yeah, you know what? Can you be here at 7? They were short on door guys at the time. And I'm like, yeah, I could do that. You know, came in, worked. The very next day, I closed the bar by myself. And I'm like, bruh, I'm checking IDs where I'm like, fuck, am I doing this shit right? I don't know. This is before they had the scanners where you could just scan in and you could just see certain things and if it's a fake or whatever, but it's like, you'll know if it's a fake if it looks crazy, you know, but I'm like, well, it's my second day on the job. I'm going to do my best. You know, but I closed my second day and it was like, I closed the bar and I'm like, damn, I had so many questions, but I remember my second paycheck. My second paycheck, you know, I was like, you know what? I need my own crib. So I went and, you know, I went to this spot, you know, and it's called Park Village. And they was having a promotion. It was like $429 a month. I went there, you know, I signed my lease and I had 3 other roommates, you know, and I did that for a year, you know, and I don't think people really understand the type of hustle that's in me. Like, you know, my mom used to sell perfume. She still sells pocketbooks. I remember going with her to the city, you know, to buy perfume, buy pocketbooks, to sell them, you know, to some of her clients. And my mom's a nurse and, you know, she works at a private practice where, you know, we have a whole bunch of different random people. Like people that own farms in Italy come there because it's an older practice, you know, and like if I had to, you know, shovel shit, if, you know, or whatever the case is, you know, I got to do it, you know. I don't think people really understand growing up. It's like where we grew up at, it was, you know, sports was kind of It was always drugs and music and then sports. Although, depending on who you was, sports could vary, but I've known a lot of talented people, you know, who got too sucked into the streets or because of misguidance or no guidance, you know, and I'm not going to sit here and say being sucked into the streets is wrong because at the end of the day, it's like if you don't come from there, you know, you're not really gonna understand it. Now it's a little bit different. You know, they shooting at like 10, 11, 12 years old.
That's their environment, and that's why we said like earlier when it comes to, you know, even the basketball training and the work ethic that it takes. It's like it's different when, you know, at 10, 11, 12, you gotta deal with somebody. You know, every day is a blessing to make it home. You know, kids nowadays come home from practice and complain that they didn't have the nicest shoes on the team, when we were just thankful, or excuse me, some people are just thankful to make it to practice.
Pun can attest for this. You know, we had maybe 25 different quote unquote, you know, sets, gangs or whatever, probably at the peak. And this was probably back in like 07, 06, before the some of the indictments that really happened. Like, all within a 4-mile radius.
Yeah, it was nasty out there. But it's not like out here, like you can play a sport and walk home without worrying about certain things. Like in New York,
If you wear a certain pair of shoes,
you'd be lucky to make it from the store to your crib. That's how nasty it is.
all because you got on either a pair of J's, you got a nice jacket on.
Anything. Wrong neighborhood.
You be in the wrong neighborhood at the wrong time. You could ride the subway.
Identity. They you somebody else.
It's just different though too, because when you speak about things like that, especially for the kids out here and me being from here, until I moved away and got to experience gang violence. When I was in New Mexico, we played in a tournament called the Gus Smacker, which was like Bam Jam here. And the court across me, a dude got shot, killed. They continued play. They put him in an ambulance and drove the dude off. He ended up passing away, and they were continuing play. Where here, the whole entire event is shut down.
Yeah.
When I went to Texas and I had to experience racism firsthand, we went to a Baptist church. Me and my family, me and my sister Brittany, were of color, and my step family and my mom are white. They allowed them in and did not allow us in. So when you sit there and you're from here and you don't experience that, because like I didn't even know I was black for the longest time. I just knew I was a little bit different, and that may sound funny, but to me, it's like when you're around everybody and everybody looked at me and I was the athlete, but it wasn't like, you know, I was respected, and I wasn't one of those people that like nobody tried me. And at the time, I didn't even know what that was if they would have, you know. So then when I moved away and I had to learn like, oh dang, this you know, there's actually people that, you know, that don't like you just because you're maybe a certain skin color or because you wear a certain color. You know, rest in peace, Juice. But you know, one of my big homies and, you know, protectors and people that looked out for me. You know, he was a foster care kid, and you know, I met him at church, and the first time I got called the N-word was in New Mexico, and he defended me. A dude was picking on me, and he threw the dude and beat the dude up and told him, like, you know, you'll never pick on him again. He said, you know, you're gonna change the world one day, and you know, I'm gonna protect you. And you know, he changed his whole life around. Was born into the Crips, jumped into the Crips at 8 years old, and that was the environment that he had until he got into his foster family. And he changed his whole life around, gave his life to Christ, and got baptized in our church. And then, you know, he was the first person from his family to graduate high school. Also the first person to get a scholarship, academic. And, you know, I moved away and came back to visit him to send him off to college. And, you know, I was 2 minutes away from his house when he went to the corner store to get some marinara sauce for the spaghetti for the dinner that evening. And he got killed by his gang. They were upset the fact that he wanted to leave and he didn't want to be a part of it anymore. So until you go through some stuff like that, or if you experienced it or seen it or heard it or really endured it, we say, oh, you know, you don't understand it, and they don't. And they'll be like, oh, no, I heard it. No. Until you really feel it and experience it, you really don't know. And, you know, you brush it off and you look past it. But the reality of it is that each time that you experience any type of adversity, you have two options. You either grow and learn from it, or you continue to ignore it and act like it's not there. And the people that are aware understand what's going on and how to avoid those situations and move a little bit differently. And the people that don't end up staying in the same environment. So You know, when you look at, you know, where you guys grew up and, you know, some of the things that I've had to experience in the different places that I lived in, to explain that to the average person here that, or even the dangerous or violent thugs that be out here, that think they're out here. As soon as you tell them that somebody's actually been through some stuff, they're all of a sudden, oh, I have no issue, I'm buddy. You know, so it's not really that type of culture out here, even though some people try to make it so that they don't get punked. But nobody wants to look for trouble or be in trouble. There's some places that, you know, that are out here where, you know, you don't have to look for it. You can avoid it and still run into it. You know, and we're fortunate and blessed to be in Idaho where it's safe right now. But as more people continue to move in and shift how it is, the more dangerous it'll be. But it's not there yet. It's not even close.
I don't think it'll get there.
We hope.
But
we had a shooting at the mall last year. That's the first time it's happening ever.
Yeah, that's true.
And it should have never happened.
I mean, can't say it should have never happened. It's just, you know.
It's sad that it happened.
It's just these gun laws. But, you know, that's a different conversation for later. Like I tell y'all, you know, I mean, y'all hear this firsthand. I don't have a lot of deep conversations with everybody. A lot of people, you know, they don't really understand a lot of things about me, you know, and which is cool. I'm okay with that, you know, because at the end of the day, I was never meant to walk with the crowd. You know, it's just crazy, you know, but, but it was just like one of those things where it's like, you know, you kind of come into your own person. Growing up, like, you know, where we did heavy drugs. I mean, heavy. I mean, heavy, crazy. And growing up, I don't, you know, people don't understand, like, you got to become street smart just as quick as you become book smart. And I don't think people really understand this. So when I tell you, like, yo, you being soft right now, it's only because of certain things I've been through. And it's like, it could be me and Pun, me and someone else. We could walk into the store in a different area, not know anyone. We come out the store and they're static. Out here, I don't have to look over my shoulders. We walk outside, we see crackheads. Shit. I walk outside my front door, I go down the hallway. You know, people doing bass or whatever the hell it is, water, something. There's some people that in my old building that's paying $25 in rent.
25, like 30. 17
maybe. Section 8, you know? Like it's a different world, you know, and basketball was the one thing that basketball and flag football was the two things that, you know, really always kept me, you know, out of trouble for the most part, because, you know, growing up, you couldn't tell me I wasn't gonna become an NBA player. You know, for me, some of the best times of my life was, even still to this day, is playing flag football. Only reason is because my dad watched me. He watched me play a lot of basketball games. But growing up, I remember, you know, being at the Yonkers PAL, you know, we play flag football. And at this time, you had everyone from multiple hoods coming to one place. And the cops made it be known, yo, y'all come in here, there's no gang violence. We're not doing that shit. If y'all want to do it off the premises. I remember when NFL Street just came out. It didn't even come out yet.
Volume 1 or 2?
Volume 1.
2 was OD.
No, it was NBA Street. I remember playing I think it was like before the game. You know, he came late. And I'm like, why you come late? He went like this out of his jacket. Bro, he pulled out the fucking NBA Street. It was a wrap. You didn't see me after school or nothing. You didn't. That's when Stretch was there. Mm-hmm. The dude with the I think he had the do-rag on with the gray G-Unit tank top.
Right. Bounce.
Right.
Stretch had bounce.
Uh-huh. Those things kept me off the streets as far as hustle-wise. But I was always paying attention. I always understand. I see things. You know, I understand it. You know, I've seen everyone do their own shit and how they fucked up, how they did this, you know, and growing up, it's like you got to pay attention. Because if you don't pay attention, it's a wrap. You either going to get sucked in or you're going to become oblivious to certain facts. You know, like I touched on earlier, I don't have conversations with everybody. So, you know, like, people don't really get it. I don't think people know, you know, I went to Saunders High School, you know, and then I ended up going to Dutchess Community College. You know, I played basketball there for 1 year. You know, first game had a 50 ball, you know.
Cap.
Just ask around.
37.
No cap. Listen, don't let that fool you. They fucked up my stats.
I caught out what the internet says, so when you look, there you go.
Yeah,
30
man,
ball?
fuck the internet.
37.
I had like, trust me, I had like, it was a 50 piece. But anyway,
That's the Saunders.
we sucked. Our coach was the fucking varsity. He was a PE teacher, and the only time we could get into the gym was during open gym. I'm like, and we had 5 a.m. practices, and I'm like, bro, you're the PE teacher. You live down the block. Give us a night practice. What are you doing, dog? So there would be days where I had practice at 5 a.m. and then I had to be to class at 8. We had practice from 5 to 7:15. I had class from
What year was this?
2012. Whew.
Meanwhile, I was up 4:50 a.m.
Listen, I was
on my own.
Yeah. We had practice from 5 to 7:15. Then I had class from 8 to 9:30. Then from 10 to 11:15. And then from 11:30 to 12:45 on like Mondays and Wednesdays. Or Tuesdays and Thursdays. Killed myself. I'm like, yo, this is crazy. I'm like, we practicing to lose. I'm like, we getting 30 clipped, 40 clipped, 50 clipped at times. It's like, bro, you can't, like, you know, not to throw no slander, but like, bro couldn't coach. We couldn't even go to the gym to work on our own shots or nothing like that, you know? And that was stressful. Fast forward to now, you know, I got DJ out here, which is my little brother, you know? And I told my parents, I said, yo, I want DJ to come out here, you know? I think it'll be better for him, better for his future, better for everything, period. Just because he's not going to be put in a certain environment where he got to be put in other people's issues and be in the middle of other people's harm. And then, God forbid, right, you know, he, at least in New York, defends someone, they pull out a gun and start doing crazy shit. So it was one of those things, like, they didn't be like, yo, we want DJ to come out there. I was like, yo, I want him to come out here. It's been a challenge, you know. He's light-skinned, skinny, head is blown up, you know. We all know DJ, you know, but that's my guy, you know, and it is a challenge for me because I don't think people really understand that I got to raise a little brother, like an older brother, like a mom, like a dad, fight him on going between puberty, going through puberty, maturing, him making mistakes I already made, trying to make sure he don't make the same ones, and then me still trying to, you know, grind and do my shit, like, you know. And I tell people, I'm like, I missed a lot of time, you know, when I was going to community college and even my first couple years out here, my first 2 or 3 years out here, you know. It was always about me. And, you know, I didn't really understand that, I want to say, up until this year. You know, I think this year I made more mistakes this year than I ever have. And I'm learning from that, and I understand that. Comparing myself back to, you know, I want to say right before COVID hit, I think COVID kind of put me in a blender. Was like, yeah, homie, we got you for 3 years, 2 years, it's over for you. You know, 2020, 2021, 2022 was some crazy years. You know, near-death experiences. You know, having to understand that, like, damn, you know what? I could take this win, but it's not going to be a win right now. It's going to be a loss. Well, it might feel like a win right now, but down the road, it'll be a loss. So I had to bite my tongue on a lot of things. I had to give more than, you know, what I get in return. Only reason is because it's like, that's just the part about, you know, growing up and really understanding things and going through the whole motions. Because, you know, I went back home to New York 3 times this year. I missed my family, you know, and I miss being in New York. I miss being around different people. I miss being around, you know, that, you know what, let's hustle. Let's get back to, you know, getting the dollar. You know, I don't think people, like, now more than ever, you know, I missed out on some family vacations that'll never happen again, ever. I tell DJ, you know, our family's only getting older. You know, they're not getting younger. You know, and I gotta cherish these times, you know, with my aunts, you know, that are a lot older than me, my cousins and everything, because, you know, hopefully, you know, within the next 10 years, you know, medical bills won't have to be an issue. You know, I'm hoping to just be able to take care of that. You know, the same way I made a promise to my homie. Well, I didn't make a promise to him, but when he passed away, you know, he left 7 kids behind. Some way, somehow, I'm going to figure out how to feed them. I have an idea. I have a thought. I'm not there yet. Will I get there? Absolutely. But it's like people don't understand the weight that I put on my shoulder, because people don't really know me. And like, shit, I've told DA, people call you DA, but they don't say Derek. You know? I'm just being honest. You know, so when people be like this, like, people don't understand. I got 1,000 things going through my mind all at once. Like 6 trillion things, you know, going through my mind. You know, and it's all crazy, you know, but, you know, I'm just working on getting through it. I gotta stop saying button, you know. You know, episode 2, I won't be like this. But this is it's a good start. My brother and my sister, you know, I looked up to them a lot. You know, there would be days where I wanted to be outside hanging out with the older dudes. Shameek was like, yo, go the fuck upstairs. Bombing my shit. Go the fuck upstairs. What you outside for? They ain't gonna do shit. Go the fuck upstairs. You know? And now I'm looking at it like, damn, you know, she did it for a reason. Motherfuckers can't call me little bro no more. I mean, I'm not little bro. When I've been in Idaho, people didn't come check me. When I was fucked up, people didn't say, yo, let me come holler at you. Yo, you good? So when I hear this little bro talk, it's like, nah, skip that shit with me, you know, and I'm not gonna say respectfully, you know, because I got people who got me on Facebook and they see my sister, how's RELL? Ask me, like, you got me on the book, you got me on the gram. Simple, you know. I'm in Idaho, like I'm like literally way out the way, like way out of the fucking way, you know. I'm sorry, I know I'm kind of going off topic, but you know, it be a lot of shit going on my mind. When you go through things and then you go through other things, it feels like everything is crashing down. You know, when my homie passed, you know, me and Pun had, you know, conversations, and, you know, I've had conversations with a bunch of other people, you know, about it. You know, it was like understanding things and, you know, like really seeing how shit is with people is foul. People say they stand on business and they don't stand on business. They don't stand on principle. The only thing they stand on is their 2 feet. That's it. They don't stand on anything else. They only hold shit down when people's looking. They don't hold shit down when they fucked up, but they, just because they got a good heart, knowing that they're going to bounce back, they're going to put this person in a better position. The only reason is because this person might not make it through without, you know, just a little bit of, like, you know, of a push. You know, I've given my last and I've given my all. And most of the times I got 0 in return. I'm not asking for nothing in return. It is what it is, you know. As everyone knows, the good-hearted people will always finish last, because we got those people who will constantly take and take and take and get mad when you can't give no more. Well, it's like, motherfucker, you sucked it dry,
Bro, you took it all.
you know.
I don't even realize, bro, because I think the main thing too is like we talked about earlier when we was in the garage, we was talking about business, and like you've done it, I've done it. We look at it and it's like everybody want to be a boss till it comes to what the boss is required to do. So, you know, people look at and they see the benefits or they see the blessings, but they didn't see the hardships. They didn't see the 5 a.m.s. They didn't see the 11 o'clocks. They didn't see the you know, I had 3 hours that I could have took to myself, but instead I was on my computer doing shit I didn't want to do. And, you know, the main thing that I think that you need within your circle is one is people that are like-minded. And a lot of times people try to be like-minded just to fit in, but it's like it's either who you are or it's who you're not. And I think the one thing that I've noticed, and the more that I've continued to grow and the more that success is came after me, or, you know, that the success that I would say I've earned, a lot of people want to ride your coattails. And the thing is if they can get ahead of you by being on your back, they'll do it, because at the end of the day, they want to have one up on you. And so with that being said is that you always put people before you, just as I do. And the more that I start to really, you know, analyze how people behave, I start to see that people only want to be around me for the benefits that comes with it. And it's like, if you cared about me, you would be there through the rough parts. If you cared about me, you wouldn't want nothing from me. You know, and if I gave you something, or if you gave me something, I would always return the favor in different areas of life. And so, you know, I look at, you know, the environment that you grew up in, that Pun grew up in, and, you know, I would say I was more fortunate in the sense of my upbringing. I was born into a family that, you know, attended church, and I was protected by that. I wasn't around the certain things because of the way of life that we decided to live by. And, you know, and granted, the things that came after me from gang violence and racism, I was able to, you know, avoid those things based upon my upbringing. So, you know, you look at success. You said you were talking about how you were first, you know, on Craigslist and you got a room for rent. You were thankful. When I graduated college, went to the NBA G League. I didn't even graduate. I finished my 4 years, went to the NBA G League, was homeless, didn't even tell nobody that I was even in that position. But I got to the G League, and that's all they cared about is, oh, my gosh, I knew you would do it. But they didn't realize I was homeless that entire time until I got there. And when I first got to Grand Rapids, Michigan, people didn't even realize that my first weekend there, people was getting killed at the bar across the street. And they didn't care about the environment I was in. They thought I was going to the NBA, and, you know, people was trying to say, I knew you were going to do it. It's like, what Rick Ross say? You wasn't with me shooting in the gym? Like, all them days I was there, bro, regardless of what was going on in my career, from, you know, the 0.9 points a game at Idaho State with no, you know, college scholarship offers, to sign in 2 days before my senior year to go play at Edinburgh, where I was a National Player of the Year finalist, and, you know, broke records in 1 year, and, you know, did things that nobody could even dream of doing. Nobody was there when I was struggling. You know, the real ones was there. The real ones believed in me throughout the whole, you know, journey. When I became a trainer and I was working, you know, I went a full year with no days off. That's 365, 7 days a week, no days off. I was working. Nobody even understood that that's what was going on. Even the fun I was having, I was still sacrificing and going to work on Sunday, right? So, you know, people wasn't there when it was tough. When I lived with you and my bed was on the floor, I was just thankful to have a room. I was just thankful to have a roof over my head. When I was getting to work with no car, I didn't make excuses. I didn't ask for no help. I just found a way, you know? So when you live with somebody, the couch is probably the cleanest place in the whole crib. So it's like, you look at what you came through, and there's no excuse. We done put so many people on, have given the shirt, the socks, the drawers off our bodies to people, and in return ask for nothing but get a knife in our back. You told me one time, you said, so many knives have been in my back, I had to start walking backwards.
That's what Drake said.
And Drake may
He
have said
said,
it, but you said it to me all the time.
Backstab so many times. I had to start walking backwards. It's incredible. Just to touch on what he was saying. Shit just get crazy. And I wish I had certain things that or I wish I knew certain things back then. And I know a lot of people say this, but like I said, growing up, I didn't really have a role model. Outside of my immediate family. In Iverson, of course. But now I look at it, it's like, I get inspired, I get motivated by certain things, and I look up to, two, people, just to single them out. I'm not gonna say no names, but they should know who they are. Just hearing their stories, hearing their success, and success, comes from all things. Elon's success was crazy. Elon Musk was throwing house parties, doing all types of shit. Created PayPal, sold it or whatever the case is, did a whole bunch of other things. So it's like, that's insane. For his story, that's something to look at. That should motivate you. But the two people, who I look up to, I wish I had someone like that growing up, because I could have easily went into a different route of what I wanted to do. When I was in community college, I broke my foot. I didn't play basketball. I was depressed. I joined a business club. That's the only reason why I want to do something with business. And I'm very understanding of, right now. It's like success comes with time. It doesn't come with age. Although age and time correlate, but they play no factor. Like combined, they play no factor in your success. Time gonna go on. You're going to fail over and over again, and I'm understanding that now. I'm seeing it. I'm aware, and, when my friend passed away, I've seen a lot of people sign the wrong deals. They go down the wrong route. They want to worry about, looking good instead of actually feeling good, being good. All these people, putting down $40,000, $50,000, hundreds of $1,000s on jewelry, and it's like, bro, we don't have to do that, and I've had conversations with, friends and, strangers about, different topics, and, it's just like, I finally figured out what I wanted to do, with, the media side, my 1810 media and stuff like that, although I might not have put my foot on the gas right now, but it's all right. Everything's about getting my pieces into the, and about getting my puzzle correct before I start to put it down, and I would have never let him, do certain things just because, it's like, bro, we don't got to do that. There's no reason to, he was already giving his last couple dollars to have cookouts on the block, and make sure everybody else was good, while in return people was making sure he wasn't when he asked. Shit is crazy. Shit is foul.
Or leading the wrong way.
If he would have been like, yo, I need to come out there, I would have never hesitated. Yo, you come out here. You can. My house is for sure your house. I would have never hesitated on that. You've seen it. I don't got to speak on certain things. What some people say is in me, not on me. So, but there's a couple, topics, that I want to, touch on before, we call this. Social media has had its good and bad impacts on society, whether it's love, business, munching, or just doing the wrong fucking things. Social media have made a lot of people, e-commerce, all that. Social media have made people trillions of dollars over the last 10 years. But it's also fucked up a lot of people's lives.
Continues to.
people's thoughts, their thought process. Oh, this person does this for his girl. Why don't you do it for me?
It's easier to brainwash people nowadays than it was before because you're not even understanding what's truly going on because they put it right in front of your face, and yet we still fall for it. But that's it's a topic for another time.
Especially the love part, and love is I wouldn't say it's a tricky word, but, from my point of view, I feel like what people don't understand is that things are not always going to be, every day is not always going to be 50-50.
Oh.
Some days it might be 60-40, 70-30, 80-20, 100-0, 50-50.
100-0?
At times. Because
You
you never.
100-0.
I'm gonna say this: if you have a girl right now and she's going through a loss in her family, she's devastated. So right then and there she's at a 0, or he.
Some girls just sit in the crib, social media, running their mouth to their friends about something that they didn't seen, and
I got no business with them.
Yeah, they just don't care. Like, fuck it.
And it goes for guys and girls, right? If you're going, really want someone who fucks with you, you gotta understand. And Key, I kind of told you this. I said right now, like, I know what I want, or not what I want. I guess something I need, in a sense, And shout outs to the lioness right now. She's setting the fucking tone, for the friend group right now. I ain't gonna lie, she's setting the tone. Key be gone. He getting fucking home cooked meals 4 times a week, and I'm like, nah, it's over for me. I need a home cooked meal
5 times.
5 times. To the point where it's like I said,
ask, and it's not that I even require that, but
to the point where it's like I'm like, yo, Corey, don't ever fucking two of the 5 nights got to be at the crib,
and she does.
Of course, that's why I appreciate her, but it's like
that's why.
I appreciate
it.
I'm saying, I
appreciate
it.
Parts.
The thing about like I said with love is people don't really understand. People want love, but they don't come ready. People want a finished project. People they don't have no work ethic. They don't have no plan. I was fortunate enough to get a great deal on the house, and I got my little brother with me who I'm trying to raise, show him how to be a man, because once you turn 18, there's no more my fault. It's a dog world out there, and when you're not around me, everyone goes to their own experiences. But raising a little brother, still trying to do certain things that I do, grind. You've seen it. I mean, you've went into trainings, and I'm up at 5:30 in the morning still, and I gotta be awake by 7. But it's those times where it's like I understand I gotta sacrifice now to put me kind of ahead, but having a true, support system where it's like I don't have to ask for certain things. It's just being done because you know what? I like you, or, I fuck with you enough to be like, you know what? How can we get right? How can we get right together? How can I help you? And how can you help me? We're going to be a team. We're going to make it work. How are we going to help each other? Help us. And I feel like social media kind of ruined that because everyone they don't want to fuck with you unless they see what you about.
Or what you can provide.
Even if you come to the table with nothing, you got to have some type of work ethic to figure it out. Because this world is going to keep spinning on spinning, and it ain't going to stop, until God says it's over. It's a wrap. But until then, this world is going to keep on spinning. Relationship-wise, 10 years ago, you didn't have to worry about, well, maybe on MySpace. Yeah, before MySpace, you didn't really have to worry about, your girl or your wife seeing another, dude outside of work, school, maybe on the street. Now it's like if she looks good enough, or if your boyfriend looks good enough, they're on social media, right? They getting 15,000 likes, 20, 25,000 likes. DMs. And in the comments, they're going crazy. Social media has made things look good but not be good, just because people rather enjoy other people thinking that they're good as opposed to them really actually being good.
It's temporary fulfillment, but it's everything that's put into us from in a society standpoint. We have temporary fulfillment in everything. They say if you take this protein shake, you're going to get, all the muscles. If you take this Slim Fast, you're going to lose the weight. If you wear these Gymshark leggings, you got ass now. Like, bro, it's bullshit. So it's like when I look at, like, relationships, like, think about it. We always talk about, people want a finished product, but at the same time as men, we also aren't finished sometimes. And we want something that, everybody wants what they can't have. So when we look at a girl based upon her, her physical appearance, we want her. But then when we realize that her brain is fucking macaroni noodles, it's like, all right, well, I want her for that night, right? With no seasoning.
Or the dude, too. It goes both ways, because you do got girls who hold shit down. They just run into bad situations the same way where, you got a guy that might run into a bad situation.
But we're always comparing, and I think that's the biggest problem now is what, instead of us building, like for me, and I'll speak for my relationship, I try to hold myself to a very high standard, and my girl holds herself to a very high standard. And so when we combine, we hold ourselves to a standard that we both agreed upon. And I think sometimes too that, as men, we have lustful thoughts, we have lustful temptations, and we allow other women to control how we behave. And the way that I learned from just a standpoint of what I had to endure before I met Corey was, the intention is great, and, a million girls saying, oh, you look good is cool and all, but at the end of the day, if they have nothing to bring to the table and they don't benefit me, if they don't fill up my cup, I don't need that, because right now my cup is already full. I need some girl, and my girl, overflows my cup. So she's always adding value to me, not just from a standpoint of boosting my confidence from giving me, compliments, but she's boosting my business mindset by encouraging me and motivating me and holding me accountable for my financial decisions. She's not only doing that, she's looking out for my friends. She fits in with my friends. Not only that, she looks out for other people and cares for them as well. So when you look at the things that she brings to the table, with or without me, she will be good. And I think a lot of times people in relationships now rely on people for something where it's like, she doesn't need me, I don't need her, but we both love each other and we decided to choose each other, and that's what we do day in and day out. And nowadays you don't have that. Like you said, you go on social media and all of a sudden you see a girl and every dude is in her comments. If that's your shorty, she's more susceptible to looking at other people, as opposed to when you're like, I want you to look at me. And we also have to be, understanding of, when we decide to choose attractive women, we can't be upset that they're attractive and people will go after them, right? But we got to trust them enough, and we have to, provide something, a product that is good enough for them to say, you know what, no matter who it is, what status they have, if they have more money, if they have a better car, if they have a nicer house, that they're choosing to be with you, right? And I think that comes from girls or dudes that have principal foundations of something bigger than themselves. Because I feel like when you're corrected and you're checked by something that's bigger than you, you decide not to make poor decisions, because a lot of times when people make these decisions, they don't think nobody sees them, or that nobody knows what's going on, when actuality is that they're broken, And I can speak from a standpoint of when I was broken, I seeked validation through women when I didn't care what they said about me, but the attention made me feel like I was him. And it's like, that wasn't it, because that didn't fill up my cup. I didn't feel better because they wanted me. I felt better because I felt like I was getting something for myself. And love is not about you. Love is wanting more for somebody than you want for yourself. And a lot of people don't understand that. And so when you're willing to sacrifice and you're willing to, like we say about business, you have to sacrifice something, right? That's the same thing with love. There is still other women, beautiful women all over the world, but I don't want them. Because a lot of those women are for everybody else. I want a girl that's just for me. And so when I look at the girl that I got, there's no worry.
Yes.
And, you know, I hate to use a reference again, but he's like, you know, he's always spot on. He said, pretty face, pretty tempted. Pretty taught me ugly lessons.
Sheesh.
Pretty had me giving more than I was getting.
Preach.
So when pretty don't come with something, well, then I dead it. That's a super bar. I don't think, and a lot of men don't like to be tapped in with their emotional love side, but you know, that is what it is. And you know, before we wrap up, love, you know, for all you young people, you know, that's out there, you know, it's hard, you know. You want to have someone who's going to add to your plate instead of take away. Someone who's going to challenge you instead of keep you stagnant. Someone who's willing to jump in the fire with you, although there might not be, you know, a clear destination. But it's like, when you're going through hell, you don't stop in hell. Why the fuck are you going to stop in hell? You keep going. And I don't think people understand that, you know, and it definitely happens in love. You know, my mom and my dad have been together for 41, 42 years. 43 years, because my brothers be 40. Yeah, my brothers are old head. They've been, you know, together for about 43 years, you know, and I hope one day to, you know, to have that. Find someone who's willing to help you build a plan for the future, you know, and there's too many people preying on what's in your pockets. How can I exploit that? Because at the end of the day, that's not real love. That's called lust. Coming soon, you know, I will be doing direct-to-garment printing. I will be, I want to say probably by a little bit over the new year, I will be a full-service company where I will be doing, you know, social media management, social media marketing. We'll be offering photography, videography, products, family photos. We do already, but and then we'll be able to do branding as far as like if you need some hats, hoodies, jackets, and all of that stuff, you know, it'll be able to be done all in-house. Creativity is infinite, and I think the one thing I learned that is you're going to fail over and over and over again. Even when you have something that you love, you know, that's going to work, you're going to fail a couple times. You know, and I hit that stunt with me, you know. So next year we're coming into the year right. You know, I'm making sure that my steps is moving forward, my foot's in the right place. But, you know, I look forward to, you know, sharing a good journey with you guys, especially with this podcast here at SB Studios. I will be rocking all my podcast here. And just so you know, our guy Rylan has a teak shirt on. Do not fuck with them. I won't lie, we do not fuck with them. But yo, yeah, follow me at YoRel _ on the gram. Roll Off the Hills my YouTube. 1810 Media is my media page. Stay tuned for some updates. Based around the world will be my direct-to-garment printing service. I will also be doing merch. So if you have some merch you want to get made, let me know. I got you. Don't worry about it. Keshawn Liggins, go ahead. What's your ad?
My IG is Keshawn _ Liggins, and then my personal training and my business that I created is Adversity Athletes, and our website is adversityathletes.org.
And he also does basketball,
personal skills training, as well as personal training from strength and conditioning, speed and agility, and vertical training, and weight loss management.
But we also have people, you know, who do football.
Yes, we have football field training as well as weight room training, and we got everything that you need to get better. To get right.
Trust me, there's people in Africa right now doing more with less. So having a good support system, you know, around you is definitely key. Pigga the Bigger.
Yeah, that's my Instagram.
Can you spell it out, please? It's for the home team.
Piggity _.
We going. We going. Yeah, you know, we going to tag it. You know,
It's the 44, man. It got me.
Yeah, shout out to 44 North again. Black Moscow Mule Cups. You either get right, and if things is not going right, you gotta go left, or you just get left. Right. Well, I appreciate y'all for tuning in to Roll Up the Hill episode 1. Look forward to episode 2. Will be coming soon. Love you all. Happy holidays, and please remember this. Yesterday is yesterday, and today is today. So with that being said, make sure you try and put, your best foot forward. I'm one person who, fights through, a lot of different, procrastination, at times not feeling like I want to get shit done. But at the same time, no one's going to get it done. So make sure you get your fucking ass up and you get it done. You dig? Holla at y'all. Thank you. Happy holidays. Tune in. Yep.
Baby, I come from the low. Tell me where you from. Baby, I come from the low.